Hello, this is Donna, psychic medium and direct messenger for spirit. The afterlife is actually all around us. The messages from our loved ones, spirit guides, and pieces of our soul are waiting to be heard. If this is your first episode, welcome. I invite you to go back and listen to previous episodes where I link my guest to their loved one or to a piece of their soul's existence in the afterlife. Thank you for listening and for sharing. Please consider leaving a review. Enjoy and stay tuned for more. I have a feeling there will be much more from the afterlife. Would you like to be a guest on our podcast? We'd love to have you. Send an email to linkingpodcast@gmail.com. This is a free reading linking you to either a loved one in the afterlife or a piece of your soul's existence hanging out, waiting for your attention. State out loud, I am open to receive.
I am open to receive.
Great. And state your first name and the phrase, it's a beautiful day.
Christine, and it's a beautiful day.
Christine, your parents coming through together, are they still here in the physical world or in the non-physical world?
No, they passed.
They're just like, and here we are. And I'm like, well, that's beautiful. And what is it you'd like to say?
I don't know. I miss them.
They're coming in so clearly, physically. Has it been like under 8 years?
No, more than that.
More than that. They're very alert, though. Do you, just a yes or no, do you hear from them often?
Yes, I feel like I do.
Yes, they're very close to me.
Yeah.
Did they cross together?
No, they passed
Close?
2001 and 2008.
But they were very close then. Would you say they were just peas in a pod, two of a kind?
In their own way. I mean, I was young.
Yeah. The way they came in together tells me so many things, but I'd like to confirm it with you. You know, why am I seeing the way I'm seeing them? Let me go here before you give me any more information. The image they give me is they're very straight-laced, very proper, like maybe wouldn't walk around the house in sweatpants and t-shirts sort of people. Do you understand that?
Oh, that's a lie. Then I don't know who those people are.
No, they're definitely your parents. Then do you see them as very spiritual people?
My mom, yeah. My dad passed when I was 11 and he was older.
That's okay. That's enough. That's enough. So let me go into a little bit more because I want to confirm what I'm seeing and how this is relating. So let me say to you as a medium, what I do is connect with the souls that were your parents.
Okay.
So as they walk in, they're very spiritual. Like they have on the nice clothing, like spiritual garbs.
Okay.
Maybe like if I saw them in the church, they would have like the priestly robes on, which I might be seeing, which made me say they wouldn't want to be in sweatpants, but that's who they are right now.
Yeah. Okay.
So as two spiritual beings, and they come in from the front of me, they just like walk through this window that I have in front of me here, almost floated right in.
Mm-hmm.
So I hear what you're saying regarding, no, they were the casuals, you know, but.
Yeah, they really were. My dad literally walked around with the t-shirt and underwear. My mom always was barefoot, but I can relate to that just because they have been gone for so long.
Yeah, that's what I'm gathering now, because as I see them walk through, I can only interpret what I see. So I'm confident at what I see, and I hear your no's. Well, okay, well, they aren't that way anymore.
Yeah.
And every soul is different as they step in to my head. Every soul is different. And then you heard me say, Yes. And what do you have to say? And they just keep this air of, I'll keep using the word spiritual about them, this air of, we're here.
Okay.
We've never left you. We've never really left you. You understand?
Yeah, I do.
I'm just going to see if they can tell me about if it's, any of this is resonating with you. I feel they both left quickly. Would you agree to that? Yes. And there was no pain in either of their physical bodies. That's how quick it was. I'm telling you that. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah.
That's okay. I'll take a minute. Just take a breath.
I cry about everything. Don't worry about me. But yes, it's a big question I've always had.
Crying is a wonderful way to release. You have to.
Yeah.
Crying is this beautiful way to melt that iceberg. It's just the tears.
Yeah.
The melting of the iceberg are your tears.
Yeah.
So that's an okay thing. But I love that they wanted to confirm that for you.
Yeah.
No pain. Both their parents
Okay.
are with me also.
Okay.
You see my arms, the way they're outstretched.
Uh-huh.
I'm doing this because it just feels so, I'm going to keep using the word church, even though.
The spiritual, like, yeah.
Yeah, that's what it is. My arms are still out and I'm like asking spirit, when can I put my arms down? So I see your parents step in front of me.
Okay.
And then both their sides, their parents, right behind them, and also in that aspect. So they're both gone. Also, both sets of grandparents are also there.
Mm-hmm.
I keep asking them, like, while I'm talking to you, I also talk to them. And I'm like, what's the deal? What's the hierarchy here? What's going on that you guys are just so, like if there were music playing, it would be harps and beautiful trumpets right now. It's just a beautiful scene of them. So let's go back to your parents. Were they about the same height? Were they both kind of thin?
No.
Okay. So there's a reason they're appearing that way also. The same height, very thin, the garbs and everything. We're going to go someplace really different here, Christine. Are you ready?
Okay.
They're asking me to ask you
Uh-huh.
because they feel what they're going to say to me right now comes from a different place, comes from a further away place. Have you always wondered to yourself, Christine, there's more out there?
Yeah.
I keep wanting to say to you, sweetie, that's them talking through me.
Yeah.
Sweetie, there's so much more out there. So much more. This is your dad now. Don't limit what you already know.
Wow.
Wasn't that an interesting quote?
Wow. Wow. Okay.
I have not stopped with the goosebumps up and down my body, has not stopped. I'm going to keep going here. Your parents, as well as your grandparents, it was not their first lifetime.
Okay.
And they have not only been human, they are something else. They are star beings.
Star beings. Okay.
Not only come from Earth, not only from Earth, or from other planets. You understand what I'm saying? Yes.
Yes, I do.
And have you had that feeling?
Yes. Yes.
So now it all is just coming full circle of how they entered my head, what they look like, why they are the way they are. Because in that other lifetime, when they were star beings, sweatpants, underwear didn't exist. Do you understand?
Yes.
I'm always sure what I'm seeing. It just takes a moment sometimes to come full circle. Understand that?
I do. Yes.
Their presence for you now, you have to look at it, I always say, from a higher perspective. but they're saying from a higher, higher, higher perspective.
Yes.
In my head, when I always say that to clients, higher perspective, I'm always like, here I am way above myself, looking at the whole scene of what's going on, trying to understand that person's view, that person's view. But when they say, and no one in the spirit world or in the star being world has ever said this to me before, you now have to view things from the higher, higher, higher. You need to go out into the stratosphere, all the galaxies that are available to you, because your dad is saying, now your dad, it's the guy that I perceive as your dad, the soul who was your dad.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying to you, it's not everything that you once thought it was. It's everything and so much more.
Wow. That's crazy.
That's wild.
It is wild. But how do I do that? I mean,
We'll get to that, but don't jump, right? Right now, we have to receive what is being said. And Donna's still trying to receive, because now I got two sets of grandparents that weren't really your grandparents. They were like people from another planet.
okay.
Your parents were together in all their lifetimes.
Okay.
And the way I see star people is just the way they appear to me. Tall, thin, the same height, and robed. And that's exactly the way they walked in. But that is not what I thought at the beginning.
Right.
Which is why I ask you all those questions.
Mm-hmm.
So now that I'm like, oh, I get it now. Then I have that challenge of asking you in no uncertain term, do you believe that there are other people out there besides us?
Yes.
I always like keep my fingers crossed on that one, because if they're like, no, nobody has ever said no. It's always been, this is the time for you now to take this in, right?
Yes.
Donna, I've taken it in years ago. And each time I see a different star race in my head come in, I'm more and more amazed
Mm-hmm.
at everybody's journey as a soul.
Yeah.
That it's not just on this earth, on this planet that we call Earth.
Yeah.
Okay. The souls who were your parents. This is the first time you've been their daughter. This is the first time they were your parents.
Okay.
Which would make sense to me. The reason they crossed early, because the lesson was for you as much as it was for them. But did you feel as a child you didn't belong to them? They were different to you. They were very different. Maybe they were different from all the other parents.
Yes.
You would say to yourself, I just don't understand you guys.
Yes.
This would be one of those reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Because they were coming in the first time as humans. And they're like, woo, how do we do this body thing?
Right.
Because they're souls. And as star being souls, they literally is the first time in a human body.
Mm.
Did one of them cross from something stomach?
Yes.
And the other one crossed, really, maybe that person had no idea. And maybe you guys didn't figure out till later, something like that.
No, I think the way that person passed was accidental.
Quick, though, still quick.
For what it was, yes, it was quick, but it was a lot of damage to get there. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, but it doesn't feel like, we'll get to who I'm speaking about, but it doesn't feel like that person had the understanding that the damage would lead them there.
Right.
I feel that that thought was very last minute.
Yeah.
Your mother was the second one to cross, or the first one?
The second.
Second one. So she's right now a little bit closer to me.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'll go for that's because she crossed second.
Okay.
But I feel the stomach with her. I feel the stomach with her. So do you think emotionally she took on what happened to your dad then? Do you think she was still feeling it herself? Was she there? Why am I feeling that so much with her?
I think she just had a lot happen to her in that life, her life, and she was so not good at coping with things and she couldn't cope in the right ways. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
She's more visual to me
Yeah.
right now. Like she had a lot on the surface. Like I have this emotion and what do I do with it?
Yeah.
And I don't feel any pain. If anything, it's emotion.
Okay. That means a lot to me.
Yeah.
Yes.
She said, I'm sorry, but she also said, I just feel I have to say that. Do you understand that?
Yes.
She said, but it's okay if people don't say that. It's okay if people don't say, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Because she wants you to understand everyone has a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
And that says that for us. What's our purpose?
Right.
She's so close to you, though. When she's with you, she's so close to you. And she's the human. Like as she came closer to me, she's more the human mom than not the starving mom. But she's like all over you. Was she cuddly in that way?
Yeah.
She says, when I'm with you, you're going to feel goosebumps all up and down your body now.
Okay.
She says, don't ask for my help. Do you do that often?
Give me a sign,
She said, ask for my support.
Okay.
Don't ask for my help. Ask for my support. Okay. She says, I'm always doing it regardless.
Okay.
But when you change the way you ask for something from spirit,
Yes.
it changes your vibration.
Yes. Wow.
Did you expect your parents here today? They didn't waste any time, did they? What fabulous people, fabulous souls.
Yeah.
And to honor them also for making the trip here.
Yeah.
Earth, right? As humans. It's never easy if it's a first time visit.
Right.
Yeah. And they just needed to learn some things.
Okay.
And when they learned them, that's when they departed
Okay.
and told their people,
Uh-huh.
their planet. It's all about lessons for everybody. So, they wanted to experience Earth. And I remind them it's not easy for those left behind.
Yeah.
And they're like, I know, but remember, everything was choices. Everything is choices.
I say that all the time.
Say that again.
I say to my daughter all the time, it's all about the choices you make. Every choice has a consequence, whether it's good or bad. It's all about the choices. I say it all the time to everybody. It's all about the choices.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
You see how close she is.
I do now. Yeah. I needed that confirmation. Yeah.
It's not that your dad's not that way with you, but your dad is like in my head right now, stuck in star being mode.
Yeah.
Your mom also wants you to remember to stop saying if only.
Okay.
That's something you do also, Christine.
We do.
I feel like you're so timid now. Ooh, I don't want to admit it. What else are they going to call me out on?
Guilty. Guilty.
You can't say there's choices and then say if only.
I know, it's pretty contradicting.
Oh, Christine, your name, because you spell it differently.
They spelled it differently.
Yes, there's a reason for this. They wanted to call you Crystal with a K.
Yeah.
Did you know that?
Yeah, my mom told me that.
What? What?
Yeah.
Well, that's cool.
Yeah.
And so I asked her, why Crystal and why not Crystal?
Yeah.
And there's something, I want to get you the planet name. There's something about the name Crystal. Talk to me. Crystal means something different in their language.
Mm.
The word crystal in human and the word or the vibration of the word crystal on their planet mean two different things. On Earth, crystals are beautiful, right? We talk about crystals, right? They're great healing. They're great to have on your windowsill. Crystals, crystals. They're spelled with a C.
Right.
Your mom is saying crystal on our planet means large boulders. They're talking to me human now. Large boulders that come and destroy our planet.
Huh.
Oh,
That's interesting.
that's interesting. So clearly, something destroyed their planet, like big boulders,
Yeah.
right? We would call, on our world, we would call asteroids or meteors, right?
Right.
They called them crystals.
Mm.
That was their word. Well, did they use English? No, but crystal with the K.
Mm-hmm.
And so they said they didn't want to use that word for you. So they had a happy medium and named you Christine, spelled Krystine. Let me just make sure I got that all out because that was cool. And then I want to ask you something. Hang on. She said it was something we struggled with. She said he kept saying yes and then no. Okay, let's do it. No, let's not do it. It was so much back and forth. They finally settled on what they named you because it was a mix. Elaborate on that for me.
I remember, I think it was like Books a Million or something we would go to. And I saw a name book and I don't know, like Egyptian name book. And my mom showed me my name. Oh, you're like anointed one. And she told me, and I must have been 5, 6. I've always remembered early on I remember stuff from when I was 2. I know it's weird.
No, beautiful. Of course you would. Of course you would.
People say I'm weird for remembering stuff. So anyway, I just remember her telling me about, oh, she was going to name me Crystal. And then her and my dad were like, well, Christine. My dad wanted to spell my name like Kri, like my last name. And my mom was like, no, there has to be a difference. Or he said, no, there has to be a difference. So that they made Kry.
Wow, that's good confirmation, huh?
Yeah.
I love them. I love that your dad stands over there and says, I don't want to be human anymore. And your mother comes in as that human form and holds you and hugs you. And then your grandparents still haven't moved. It feels like everybody, when their planet was destroyed by the crystal, everybody had to scatter.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Grandparents, everyone had to go to different planets.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say at that moment was when your parents decided to come to Earth. They didn't want to just hang out and wait for another planet or go to somewhere else. They're like, let's just see what this Earth thing is about.
Right.
And that was their choice.
Right.
Okay. It's up to you if you'd like to elaborate on their crossing or if you need to tell me any more about their crossing, anything else that resonated with you.
No, I think what you said resonated with me completely. It's questions I've had for years and I've always wondered. So, I mean, it's a lot of confirmation for me and the choices, and I need your support because recently I've been thinking about support. So everything you're saying I can relate to and it makes sense to me. And as far as their passing, you always wonder if they're watching. My mom always talked about spirit guide and spiritual beings and, oh, I'll follow you and you'll always be there. I always feel her as you grow older, just learning.
That whole asking for signs. Well, if they're going to send a sign,
Yeah.
I'm going to be open to receive it. I don't need to ask for it.
But that was one of the things, like earlier you asked me why you, and you always said keep your eyes and your ears and your heart open and what you are asking. And as soon as I started doing that a few weeks ago, stuff I'd been worrying about and if only and blah blah blah, I get it. Again, confirmation. I know.
That's the word. That's the word you got to use. And you are now remembering so much more of what you already knew.
Right.
But we get caught up
Mm-hmm.
in the human.
Yeah.
As soon as we start to recognize who we truly are as souls, as a human.
Yes.
Everything's so much lighter.
Yes.
Doesn't mean that stuff is not going to happen.
Right.
That stuff will still happen. But our responses in our physical, in our emotional body,
yes,
in our spiritual body will be different.
Right. Yeah.
And that's where that sense of humor, oh, I just did that again. Ha 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 ha.
Mm-hmm. Ha 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 ha.
I can't imagine how one would need any other spiritual guides when you have these two.
Right.
And you can continue calling them mom and dad, even though they are the souls that were your mom and dad, because that's the best way. Because I asked already, are you going to tell me your names, your real names?
Mm-hmm.
And they just said, no, we will always be mom and dad to her.
Okay.
Do you have just one little girl?
One girl.
Your parents pat her on the head. I don't know if she feels,
Okay.
something sometimes on her head. She does? What does she say?
She tells me, yes. She's like, oh, I think grandma's here. I feel like she did this. She said that recently. I feel like, oh, grandma's around me.
Oh,
I feel like she does this to me.
this to me, meaning pats her on the head. Mm-hmm. She just confirmed that for you too.
Yeah.
She says, I could never express how much love.
I know she loved me a lot, and I loved her too. Well, I still love her.
I'd like to thank my guest today for allowing all of us to join in on their process, their journey. And I'd like to thank you for not only listening, but coming together in a oneness vibration. Thanks again.